me about it. Come on, let's talk about it. Change up the things you see. Open your mind to possibilities. Find your power, passion, and your purpose. You know it's time for you to walk in greatness. Let's murder mediocrity. Slay your goals, live out your dream. Right now. Inspirational perspective.
In terms of the conversation around vision we've been having, I wanted to have a practical conversation about how vision works in someone's life. Outside of myself, outside of me saying it. Like, how does vision work in a person's life when we take on the aspects that we talked about that support vision, a warrior's mindset? If you remember, we talked about that 3 weeks ago. A warrior's mindset, how vision supports discipline, and also how vision brings resources and ultimately aligns us with the personal success that we are looking for. So to help me have this conversation, I've invited attorney Ernest B. Fenton into the studio this morning. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to have you.
Likewise. Usually I'm at home listening.
Well,
and of note, and I shared with Linnell, I heard all of the sessions or series on vision. Yes.
Yeah. I can remember a whole lot about, one, meeting you, two, being on your show that day. But one thing was clear to me. I was like, all right, here's a guy who's very clear about where he's going and what he wants to generate and create in his life. That piece I knew. Whether we would connect,
right.
Whether, we would mix, because, everybody don't mix. Has nothing to do with your success, has nothing to do with what you're creating in the world. But, not everybody mixes. And whether that happened or not, I knew, I'm like, all right, this guy is very clear about where he's going.
Right.
And then I began to learn more about your story. And it clicked for me. And one of the reasons why I thought to myself it'd be great to have you on the show is because even when I've read both of your books, you don't call it out specifically, but both of your books are about vision in their own ways. Like the vision that you had, even from when you were in the Army saving money, you had a vision for when you returned home.
Right.
Like, you're like, okay, let me put this up because there's a game I intend to play.
Right.
Like, that's what I took from it, right?
Right.
Your second book about, remind me of the title. I know.
Your Level Up Guide to Asset Protection.
Your Level Up Guide to Asset Protection is all about an individual protecting their vision.
Right.
Like, ultimately, that's how I look at it, right? How do you protect your vision? And the more vision you have, I imagine your customers, every last one of your customers that walk in who are looking for some level of asset protection are visionaries.
Right.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Yes.
They see something.
Well, yes.
And they want to protect that something.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have you in this conversation around vision, so we can kind of make it practical. For anyone who was like, all right, conceptually I get it, but how do I apply it? How do I practice this?
Yes.
I wanted to have a conversation around how you practice vision in your own life, to make it real,
right,
for those who are listening.
I was listening to a podcast at 3:30 a.m. this morning.
My man. Up and at 'em, huh?
Yeah. And it was a very appropriate, well, I took a little cat nap after. But,
okay.
And before coming here. But one of the things that he said, and I've said it in different ways, but I'm glad that he said it, and the podcast was appropriate for today's discussion. What he said was, knowledge is not power. Hear me. Knowledge is not power.
Agree.
Right? Knowledge is potential power.
Potential power. Yeah.
Execution is power.
That's where your power is.
That's where your power is.
Yes.
And so vision is potential power.
Yeah. I like where you're going. Keep going. Keep going.
Vision is potential power. You have to have some foresight, some idea of where you desire to go. So there are certain people who have the potential power. There are other people who even, quote unquote, have their potential power is dormant, whereby they can't even start the process of creating a vision. And then those who are stuck in the vision, but they don't have the execution.
Got you. I follow. Yeah. And I think, to your point, this is why I believe many people think or believe vision doesn't work. Because I've seen or I've envisioned what I want for my life all my life, and it hasn't materialized.
Correct.
So this young man has been on the radio for 3 weeks talking about vision, and it doesn't add up, sir.
Yeah.
Like, it might even make some people angry.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't add up. It's Pollyannish. And I love that you started it that way.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, of course you can think about it.
Right, sure.
You can, and it's interesting. I have a sibling who tends to believe and envision,
correct,
but doesn't execute.
Correct.
And I'm always like, well, you got to take the action.
Right.
You got to take the action. And it's like, if you just took the action, everything would shift in the direction of where your mind is.
Yeah.
But without the execution, no shift.
But a lot of folk don't have the experience of execution, because they have not been nurtured, in an environment that executes.
Got you. So,
or not taught.
So how does one gain experience? It's like, so you've been an entrepreneur the entire time, but you go for a job, or if you're in corporate America and you want to become a leader, like most people get caught in this purgatory in their careers where they're like, I want to be a leader, but I don't have experience. Right? You get where I'm going? It's like, well, you need leadership experience to take this job.
Right.
And it's like, well, how do I get leadership experience working here if I'm in this role and I want that role?
Well, go volunteer to be the manager of the cafeteria. Go create a cafeteria policy. See, I was watching a series not too long ago. It's Suits. My wife and I have been watching Suits. Right. I know it's like
it's gained some popularity.
It's ancient, right?
But it's gained some popularity.
Right. So we went back to watch Suits. And then in Suits, there are two characters. I can't remember the names. I can't recall the names, but it's the guy who's kind of pompous. And then another pompous guy comes in, right? Real tight-tied, right? And so they have this battle of power. And the power is over the cafeteria. Like, well, first the battle was over who would be the manager of the new associates. And then it went to, like, who was the manager of the cafeteria. Then it was like, you follow. So what I'm saying here, and I may be getting it wrong, but the point still stands, is find something small. Find something small. Like, hey, I think that the cafeteria is in disarray. What I'd like to do is become the manager of the cafeteria and create policy around it. As strange as that may sound.
No, I'm clear. I'm clear. So if we then take this example of experience, right? What I hear you saying is, when it comes to vision, like start with something practical or something small and say, okay, I envision this, and then take actionable steps towards that to build the muscle around building out. So here I am talking about life vision, and you're like, well, what about just a savings vision? Like, save $1,000 and envision what that looks like in your account. And then from there, take the executable actions to create it and build the muscle. Got 1,000. Now let's go for 10. Well, let's go for 5. Let's go for 10. Let's go for 15. Let's go for 20. And then begin. What I'm hearing you say is then another practical way to utilize vision is to expand that as you build your muscles.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I have some questions for you based on the 3 series.
All right.
And the first series was The Warrior's Mindset. And I already know how you feel about that title. First, when you hear that title, when you hear that, those words, The Warrior's Mindset, like what comes up for you? By the way,
I'm nervous now.
because here's the thing, like having been a warrior,
right?
Like a legit warrior at one point in your life, you were trained to be a warrior. And in your book, you talk about your experience in the Army. Like, what's the mindset of a soldier, and how would you correlate that to vision?
I'm pausing and hesitating. I don't want to break spirits. So I'm glad Linnell is here. So I'm not going to pause and hesitate. Linnell's going to have to clean a lot of this up. I'm just telling you right now.
Let it roll. Let it roll.
Sir, like, you have to really be about that life if you want to create your life. People are not really about that life they talk about.
What do you mean when you say be about that life? Like, what does that mean?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So I'll use me, a bit. Okay, if I desire to create a law firm that provided certain benefits for myself. It may be financial benefits. Mm-hmm. It may be the ability to be creative in my own environment. It may be to control who I'm able to hire. It may, whatever it is. So let's say entrepreneurship as an example.
Okay.
You have to be relentless about what it is that you're creating. I've shared with you several times. I've shared with the audience several times. So when I started off creating my law firm, as an example, I knew nothing. I had zero. So I had to create the lunchroom, right? I started from zero. I had practical knowledge because I had a law degree, but I had I'm sorry. I had not even practical knowledge. I just had education. I had no practical knowledge.
Law education.
Yes, all I had was education. I had theory, no practical experience. So I had to teach myself. I had to learn not just the practice of law. I had to learn the substance of law, the management of a law practice, all of that. I didn't know where to stand when I went in a courtroom the first time. No one told me stand on the right or left. No one told me who's the clerk. Who do you give the paper to? How do you file? I started on the friar. So the warrior's mindset is you have to be willing to be embarrassed. You have to be willing to be broke. You have to be willing to be somewhat blind. You have to be willing to be scared. You have to be willing to get up the next morning. You have to be willing to ask some people. You're going to be exposed.
Yeah.
You're going to be nervous. You're going to have anxiety. So listen, you get to choose, because in life, those emotions, we all going to experience those emotions.
Right.
The warrior's mindset for me is I choose to experience those emotions as I charge forward, as opposed to hiding under my bed.
And feeling the same emotions.
Feeling the same
emotions, right.
Correct. With no control over them.
Right now I'm just hiding. And hoping.
Yeah, and I don't know what's
and
next.
Feeling the same emotions.
Yeah.
And what I hear you saying is I prefer to be pushing myself forward.
Correct.
And experiencing those same emotions as I'm gaining traction in my life.
Yeah. And once you practice that, and let me tell you how many times I practiced that. I want people to be real clear. Like the warrior's mindset on social media, let me tell you what the warrior's mindset is on social media. Oh, I made $10 million. Oh, I'm a big-time lawyer. Let me show you how I became a big-time lawyer. Please, I don't like that. That's why I don't. No.
Because you can't show somebody how.
No, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
That's propaganda.
Yeah.
The real warrior mindset is like going through stuff. Warriors go through stuff. There's no great warrior who has not experienced adversity.
Facts.
So how are you going to teach
Facts.
a person you can't teach a person from the perks of a mountaintop.
Ah.
You have to tell them that what happened at the roots. You can't show them the pretty fruit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just giving them a piece of pretty fruit, you're not really teaching them the roots, because it's the roots that produce the fruit.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why the majority of people today, one, have very little patience? I mean, when you think like very little patience, this idea of instant gratitude, do you think that part of the reason for that is the propaganda that's being pushed about what it takes to be successful?
Yeah, one is propaganda. Mm-hmm. But let me just go here. And it's the story that we desire to believe. See, we're really not about that life.
It's a romance. It's a romance of success.
So we'd rather find comfort. We find comfort in the propaganda, because we're really not about that warrior life. We're not about that life.
So, I would much prefer to watch someone who's successful, who's like, you can do it too.
Correct.
Right? But they don't really give me the real gritty story.
No.
Right? They don't tell me about the climb through the mud.
No.
The standing in the rain.
Correct.
Like, they don't tell me all that. They just show me the fruit of their success. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to follow this individual.
Yes.
Whereas, because you know me, I'm going to, like, it ain't going to be easy. I know why I'm not viral. I've had brand people like, oh, you should do this. No, that's not telling the truth.
Correct.
Like, I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
Do you understand the success? And I understand why other people do it, because you get the clicks,
because people don't want to hear that you have to put in the hard work. They want to be told, if you do X, like you do X, Y, and Z in 3 weeks, you get.
Even at the expense of their own mediocrity. Yeah. Even at the expense of their own mediocrity, you're telling me that people would prefer to hear the highlight story, or watch the highlight reels that don't include the tough stuff. Because I guess, I mean, I get it. Yeah, we live in, I mean, if this were, I think about the early, the 1400s to 1500s, the Renaissance period, right? They call it like the Romantic period. All the artists and the painters, the Da Vinci's, the Michelangelos, etc. And during that period of time, like, history would lead you to believe that these painters were just having a good time. Right. Like, I mean, but when you really want to get down to it, like, Italy itself was like at war with itself. Right. Like, Florence was fighting Milan. Yeah. Milan was fighting Venice. Like, lots of bloodshed took place during that Romantic Renaissance period. So even how history tells us about history of the world, it doesn't really reveal. Like, you don't hear it. Oftentimes, it doesn't reveal the bloodshed.
Only time,
the betrayal.
You know, we romanticize struggle only, like, speaking of people of color, black folk, African Americans, however you qualify yourself. We only romanticize struggle and give it credence when it's like our struggle to explain why we're struggling. But we don't romanticize struggle and embrace struggle for progress.
Like, what did it take?
Yeah.
What did it take?
Yeah. We do a little with our parents. You know? I was in Mississippi, boy, and I didn't have anything, and I was in a cotton field, and your mama got pregnant, and I drove up here, and I worked for 6 months, and then I sent for her, and we didn't have any money, and we stayed with my cousin. And now here we are. We got this house in the suburbs, and it stopped.
And that's how and it was like, and that was then.
And that was then. And it stopped. But we don't have that.
And in order for you, like, that part of the story that's not told is your grind might not look like that, but there will need to be a grind.
Everyone has one. If everyone has one. Yeah. Right? And so you have to embrace it. So what I'm saying is, just to give some real more context and substance to the conversation, so that some people, like, really get it. It's like you have to be prepared to do the work that is necessary to get the result that you're discussing, like that you're claiming you desire. And most oftentimes, not all the time, but most oftentimes, if you're not getting the result, the answer lies within you. There's something about you that's causing you not to get that result.
Facts. Let's take this back to the warrior's mindset. There's something about you, because I also believe there's something about being a warrior where in conflict, there's no time for blame, right?
Yeah.
There's no time for blame. And the objective must be met, which makes you dig or makes you look inward or dig inward in a way that you spoke about adversity. Outside of adversity, you don't necessarily have to do that.
I said it before, I'll come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I found and I see in people, one is self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
The other part of it is looking good. You have to, I gave up on looking good. But that requires a sense of self. You got to stop trying to look good. And guess what? When you stop trying to look good, you start looking real good.
So let's break that. Let's break that down. Let's break that down. Because so when you say that, two things come to mind. Most of it, and I'm gonna kind of, interpret what I heard. What gets in our way is looking good. So the vision becomes about how I present myself right now.
Yeah.
And that is primarily my focus versus how I will present myself in the future.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. Most of us are so caught in the right now, like how I look right now, that we don't think about, well, how will I look in the future?
Objective vision, subjective vision. Objective vision is, well, my vision is tied, if you will, to the perception of how people view me. Subjective is
extrinsic.
like my vision is extrinsic.
It's extrinsic.
We want the adulation of the outside, and we will corrupt our own personal subjective vision in the name of looking good for others.
In the moment.
Yes.
In the moment.
We'll give it all up.
Whew. So, wow.
We do.
I'm digesting what you just said, because what I heard is that many of us are giving up our life vision.
Yes.
Like giving up our personal life vision so that way we can deceive those around us in the moment.
Yes.
To believe we've accomplished that vision right now. I am right now.
For sure.
Right now I'm here.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And
So we'll buy a Benz with no money. So we have more equity in our vehicles than we do in our other assets outside of our car.
Oh, that's scary because vehicles have no equity.
Well, quote unquote.
Quote unquote. I get you. But that's scary.
Yes.
Because
we have more value in the assets on our back than we do in our bank account. I bet you the average person, if I took the average...
No, you're right.
Hold on, can I do a test? And it's not for most of the people listening, but I bet it applies for half, and they know a lot of people it applies to. Ladies, find your girlfriend on her best night, right? They're going to see Beyonce on her best night. Add up her shoes, $300-$400. Add up her bag, $1,500, $2,000. Add up her hairdo, $400-$500. Add up her jacket, $300-$500. Add up the down. Add it all up, and then say, "Go show me that amount of money."
Hold on, the tickets too now.
The tickets. Hold on, they're traveling. The flight to Vegas. Add it all up.
Usher concert.
Usher, to go see Usher. Hold on. To swoon over Usher. That's a whole nother conversation. Over for what?
Yeah.
But hold on.
For a moment. In this guy. Right? And that's how you hold on. Here's another vision. Help me remember there, young man. Help me stay on point here. I don't want to leave that point. To be serenaded by some guy, Usher, nice guy. Mm-hmm.
Do you follow?
I follow.
That's in alignment with your vision.
Who's married, by the way?
Who's married on his second marriage.
Yep. With children.
With multiple children, different women, I do believe.
Yep.
Scandalous affairs.
Yep.
Did you follow? And hold on. And it's okay. In our society, it's okay.
And I just added up, like I mentally added up everything you just said. So, and that's $5,000 in. Show
me 5,000 in your bank account, and I guarantee you 50% or more can't show you that 5,000. So we talked about the lack of vision, the corruption, the self-sabotage. It's all in how you're moving. Because you have more value equity on your back and in your effort to go see Usher, who I like.
Yeah. Solid,
but I'll be
musician.
damned.
Yep.
If I were a woman, I'm going to get on a plane to go see Usher, to sing some songs, and they'll be like, ooh, girl, and fall out in my seat. And then fly back home in your empty bed and invite a guy who, quote unquote, in the public's eye, who's a quarter of Usher.
Not
quote
even.
Unquote, not really, but
yeah.
by our societal standards.
Right. Everything you just shared proves to me that we can execute on vision.
Yeah.
Because in order to get to Vegas, to be at the show, to show up in the way that they showed up, means you had to see it in your mind.
Yeah.
You had to see it in your mind and take small, actionable steps to actually fulfill on it.
Correct. But see, we're executing on the wrong things.
Visions. The wrong visions.
The wrong visions.
It's not our vision.
Yes.
I don't care who you are. Going to see Usher is not your vision. It's a vision that's been given to you. I think so then, when we go back to the warrior's mindset, what's coming up for me is the warrior doesn't deviate from the mission.
Not like that. The warrior sees that as like a distraction.
That's a distraction. That can cost me my life.
Oh, if your vision, if you haven't accomplished this level of your vision, then I'm not going to see Usher. Not like that. It costs me too much.
No.
Oh, that takes 2 days. 2 days
of my life
from my vision,
at a minimum,
from my focus, my energy, and money that I could invest.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
At a minimum. So the warrior. I love this conversation because what I'm taking from this, what you see in terms of the warrior's mindset, is a warrior's mindset is mission focused.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Mission focused. Everything else is secondary.
Yes.
Mission focused.
Yes. Focus, that was one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Willing to sacrifice.
You must be willing to sacrifice.
You must be willing to sacrifice.
Let me share this one. Linnell, and then you can give feedback on this one.
Yeah.
I've been telling you something. The last 4 months, I think it's been 4 months, I said, I'm putting my head down. Now, I'm putting my head down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that mean? People say, what does it mean when you say you're putting your head down? It means that I'm about to take my focus and make it more focused.
Right.
I'm about to focus my focus, laser focused.
Right. Yeah.
Let me tell you what I've done in 4 months. Certainly 3. Ask me how many times I've been to a restaurant. Ask me how many times I've been to a movie theater. Ask me how many plays have I seen. Ask me how many concerts. Ask me how many days of work I've missed. 0. Ask me, am I going to stop by the office when I leave here? Most likely, yes. Ask me if I'm going to read something, learn something today. Absolutely. 6, 7 days a week I am focused and executing on my vision for 4 months straight. And let me just tell you, I'm only saying 4 months. I'm saying I'm shutting it all down for 4 months. I'm not spending anything extra for these 4 months. Don't get me wrong. I'm still eating. I'm doing basic things. Ask me the shopping that I've done. I may have spent $50 here, $100 there, but in the relative to who I am, right? Where I am.
Right. A lot less.
My point is, it's like workout regimen. 75 days, we stopped at 65, ran at Thanksgiving. 75 days, no sugar, no sodas, no desserts, no fried foods, no French fries, no pizza, no Harold's. You follow? And that's just 4 months. Listen. And then I'm going to take a break, Christmas, and I'm going on a little trip. But my point is, we can't put our heads down for a weekend. And let me tell you this. I can put my head down. Let me tell you this. This is real talk. Whew. I put my head down. I'm me, and I put my head down for 4 months. Ask my wife. Oof. Let me tell you, Linnell, I can put my head down for years.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
That's warrior mindset.
If you're trying to execute on your vision, whatever your vision may be, you must be prepared to put your head down for years. Not a weekend, not a week, not a month, not 3 months, years.
Can I say something then?
Yes.
One of the questions I asked in that particular episode, the warrior's mindset, vision, the warrior's mindset, was I asked the audience, do you know what you want? Let me ask you.
Okay.
Your ability to do that, it already tells me you know what you want.
Yeah.
But when you put your head down, were you clear on how you wanted to come out of that?
Yes. Yeah. And what do I want? I'll tell you I'll share with you generally what I want. So this level of vision, because I believe you hit a goal and you create a new goal.
Right.
So the game I'm playing, right? One of my short-term games that I am playing, my vision, if you will.
By the way, I want you all to listen to the words. Because how you're even saying it is really important. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so one of the games I'm playing is financial security in early retirement. So I want to be done. I have 3 years, 4 years, and then I'm done. I may stop practicing law. You got me for 3 or 4 years.
Y'all better listen.
You follow?
I think sometimes when you say that, people are like, he'll always be there. I understand, because I'm telling folks, you better hire me now. If you need coaching, you want to coach with Linnell Harris, you better hire, because the time is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I'll never stop completely, but the way it looks now, it won't be the same. I'll work with Linnell. I'll do stuff with him. I'll do stuff with other, Melody or someone like that, but it's going to be exclusive. It's you're going to have to find me. Yeah. You're going to have to know me.
You're not just out here.
No.
You can't just walk in.
No.
Yeah, I get it. I follow. Same vision. I'm very clear.
And then I'll be a world citizen. My desire is to be a world citizen. So I'll have residence on at least three different countries.
Okay.
And so I'll be traveling. Right? And I'm going to be healthy because I have stuff to do. I have a mountain to climb. I haven't climbed the mountain yet, Linnell. You
got to come with me in March then.
Right. I have to scuba dive. I have to go down, 100 feet. I've only been down 45 feet. I have to, improve my expertise in scuba diving.
That means we got to go scuba diving.
Yeah. I have to sail my boat from Central America to Mexico or another country. I want to sail a boat from country to country.
Yes.
I'm saying I got a lot of stuff to do. And that is what lights me on fire. What doesn't light me on fire is how much money I have. That doesn't light me on fire.
Yeah.
See, that's a lack of vision. When you start saying, well, my vision, and you say money, it's a lack of vision. Money is just a tool.
It's a
So
tool.
we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire. You see how much money, Jay? That lets me know you lack vision.
Right. Right.
Because it's not about the money. And if it were, why didn't Jay-Z quit? Why didn't Beyonce quit? Why did Elon Musk not quit? Why did he quit?
Because they could.
Because they could just quit.
It's about vision. They haven't accomplished the vision.
Correct.
Yep.
And they know it.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we fixate on the wrong thing. So what I'm saying is, I have a lot to do.
I love it. You were going somewhere as we were coming back from the break about hobbies and what hobbies tell you about an individual.
Yeah. So during the break, part of our conversation was around a lot of people don't understand the level of commitment that is required in order to accomplish their vision or their goals. We just don't know the level, right? And so that's why when you talk about resistance often, that's why when they hit one bit of resistance, they're prepared to quit. You also talked about how a warrior's mindset is such that there is no retreat.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I was listening to another podcast, same podcast this morning, or maybe it was a different one, and a young man brought up the fact, he said the Japanese men were so committed to the vision of their country that they were willing to fly a plane knowing that they were going to die, called kamikaze.
Yep.
They were willing to die knowing they were going to die with wives and children.
For the vision.
Correct. So I said, and you can tell a lot about a person based upon their hobbies, based upon what they do. Listen, I know a lot about Linnell, although I know a lot about him because he may share with me or I may see it, but just from a distance, what I saw or see, as an example, he scuba dives. Let me tell you what you need to do or who you need to be in order to scuba dive. Imagine if you've never scuba dived, you have to jump in a body of water.
Yes.
With all type of life, underneath. You can't imagine if you've never scuba dived in a place that has, 100, 1,000 different species that you've never even seen perhaps on TV. And then you're breathing in through a mouthpiece. You got on goggles. They fog. The goggles fog up.
Underwater.
Water gets into your eyes. You have to keep monitoring your air. It's stressful. Especially the first 2, 3, 4 times that you do it is stressful. Most people, they do it one time.
They never go back.
But they never go back.
Yeah.
Hold on, forget that. The last time I went scuba diving, forget the scuba diving, it was the boat ride because we hit like 6-foot waves on a small boat.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're looking at the waves like, the dive is not going to kill me. This boat ride.
Yeah. This is the problem.
This is the problem. Getting out there.
Yep.
And then there's a little shark swimming by. The shark is harmless. It's not going to bite you. Then I feel it bumping the back of my fin. And and I don't want to turn around because I know it's a shark behind me.
Real. That's real. Facts.
Are you following me? Or a big turtle even. A tortoise. So my point is, it's like, you got to be a special type person. That's number one. But not only will I do it in that way, not only will I do it that way, then I'm going to decide, well, I need to practice martial arts. And then you're going to be humbled because you're going to have you're going to have a 125-year-old skinny nerd take off his glasses, walk onto a mat, and twist you up.
Facts.
And you're like, I thought I was tough.
Yeah.
And this nerd
thought I was better than him. Yeah. And this guy who showed up to the dojo today just bent me up.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Linnell Harris, and I just got twisted up by a 135-pound nerd.
This is real. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you following?
And you keep going back.
And then you keep going back. And then you have to walk into the gym, and there's a guy, he's bench pressing 450 pounds, and you're looking at him. And then you have to get on the bench, and you have to bench press 185 to his 450. And you have to be okay with that. Like, well, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't look like them. Well, that's okay. They got their shirts off. He got 8-pack. He has an 8-pack. So what I'm saying is, it's like, what how are you positioning yourself in life? Are you positioning yourself in life where you can be humbled and you still go back and learn? Are you placing yourself in uncomfortable positions? Are your hobbies and habits things that will grow you?
Because that all comes back to the warrior's mentality.
Yes.
The warrior mindset.
All of those things grow you and build you.
Yeah.
See, when you go underwater, you're going to learn something about nature. You're going to learn that on the earth is not all of life. Yeah. You learn that like life is happening in spaces. My cousin, I took him scuba diving for his birthday. He didn't make it. He tried, had to come out. Well, snorkeling, he didn't make it. But here's the thing. When he put his head into the water, he was like, oh my God. There's an entire different world.
A complete ecosystem.
A complete ecosystem. Greater than the ecosystem, perhaps above the water.
That's right.
That exists 10 feet from where you stand, and you know nothing of it.
Nothing.
Do you understand? And that's how life goes.
And you know what? To that point, I never thought about it that way. The hobbies that I've chosen to kind of define, like, you know a lot about me. Or anyone through the hobbies I've chosen.
Sure.
And some of my best friendships and partnerships have been built with people I'm diving with, people I'm grappling with, people, like, you get where I'm going?
Yes.
Some of the best partnerships have come on the boat in the 6-foot waves.
Well, you have hobbies that challenge you.
Yeah.
And that grow you.
Absolutely. And
so here's what. Look, can I say this?
Please.
I'm sorry to go out. Here's what his hobby is not. His hobby is not going out with his buddies drinking.
No.
His hobby is not the new strand of weed.
No.
His hobby is not. You get what I'm saying? His hobby is not how many chicks I can pick up on the side of my marriage. His hobby is not eating unhealthy food. His hobby is how can I eat healthier? And that tells you everything you need to know, quote unquote, about a person and their ability to realize their vision. So all you have to do is just take a look at your hobbies. And you can pretend, I'm sorry, I apologize, Linnell can clean it up. You can pretend that Beyonce is one of those hobbies if you want to. But real warriors know that that's not it.
No. And definitely not it if you want to accomplish something in your life.
Yes.
I love that. I want to honor some of the listeners' questions. We got one from Joy. She's like, so how can you be focused but not neglect your family, health, etc.? Like, how can you put your head down and focus but not neglect your family, your health, etc.?
Well, me putting my head down is my health. Putting your head down is your health. Putting my head down means I spend more time in the gym. Not neglecting my family is bringing them along with me with these healthy habits that I have. Hey, wife, let's go to the gym. Saturday and Sunday, half the time, we go to the gym together. I may go at 9, she goes at 10. Even if we're missing each other, even if I'm in one class and she's in another, we pass each other along the walkway. That's a connection.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't see it as neglect.
And here's one of the reasons why I believe life vision is so important. My wife and I, talking about how we spend our time, we spent our weekend working on our life vision. Like, you're the only phone call I answered yesterday. Well, I didn't answer. I pushed you to voicemail, then I called you back.
Yeah.
I ain't talked to anybody else. Like, cousin call, people, my brother. I talked to my brother too. Yeah. That's it. Because my wife and I were focused on creating our life vision. But to that point, this is the reason why it's a life vision. The focus is holistic. I think we get so caught up into going into one category and ignoring the others. But when I put my head down, the gym is still, that's part of me putting my head down. When I put my head down, my relationship with my wife is still part of me putting my head down. Yeah. I mean, so all of that is me putting my head, it's all inclusive. And so hopefully that answers Joy's question. All right, got another one here. Donna wanted me to ask you about being visionary. How does that translate into maneuvering through the circle you are born into to manifest your vision? How do you maneuver through the circle you are born into to manifest your vision? They're not going to like your answer.
I'm glad you said that. I almost don't want to answer that question.
Yeah, I already know. Go ahead.
Matter of fact,
go ahead.
I think I wrote this down this morning. You know, we oftentimes talk about relationships and divorce, but what we don't talk enough about is the necessity to divorce our friends and our family. And so I divorced a whole lot of people. I've never been divorced in a marriage,
right?
In an intimate marriage, you know, physically intimate marriage, but I've certainly had intimate divorces with friends and family.
Got you.
I just I break up with people all the time. And if anybody knows me, what they know is I will break up with you.
I know it. I mean, I can attest to your ability to divorce people. And by the way, when I've seen you divorce someone that we both know, I'm like, I can't fault you. Like, I see why you divorced them. It's very clear to me why you divorced that individual. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess they had it coming because they did not align with who it is you intend to be and how you intend to live your life. And one of the other things I appreciate about you is you're very clear about your boundaries. So it's also not like, well, Ernest didn't.
Correct.
He didn't express himself.
Correct.
He didn't warn them.
Correct.
He didn't tell them that, hey, like, you're crossing boundaries here that may cause me to have to divorce you. It's like once the divorce happens, it's like, yeah, they just kept crossing the boundaries. I don't even got to ask questions. It's like, and I've even have been like try to like beseech you on someone's behalf, and you're like, I don't know, I'll think about it. But you're very clear on why it happened and why you need to maintain where you are. So
can you all, let me tell you people, you all have to learn to let go a lot, if not most of your relationships.
My wife and I, yesterday, we were looking at the life vision I put together 3 years ago. 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And there were pictures, because I use pictures in part of it. There were pictures of people who I'm not, like, who I was close to then, who, based on the movement we've made in 3 years, like, it doesn't add up anymore. They're not in my circle that way.
Can I give an example?
Please.
I had a friend I was in the military with, very close, like 10 years. We had a nice run from the military. They happened to live in the Chicago area. Great friends, went to college, hung out, great friends. As an example, he did a little shady things, but this is when I had to divorce him. This is when I had to break up with him. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is because he had a child. And I remember him calling me on the phone, and he was like, well, man, you know that girl I was dating? I was like, yes. He was like, well, she calls me and tells me that I have a 1-year-old. And I was like, well, it's yours? He was like, well, I'm not sure. A few weeks later, a month, 2 later, he's in child support court. I'm like, well, is it yours? Yeah, we did a DNA test. It is mine. She's trying to get some money from me. He used to always brag to me about how much money he made. He had a couple of barbershops. He used to brag to me about how much money he made. Well, she was trying to get, let's say, $700 from me, but laugh.
A month?
Yeah, this was 15, 20 years ago. This is 15, 20 years ago. So let's just say it was $700, $800, right, from him, which back then was a pretty nice number. He laughs and says, well, the judge only gave her $300. That's all she's getting from me. I broke up with him. I divorced him.
Yeah.
I had to let him go. So here's the example, fellas. If you around shady dudes, stealing, robbing, not taking care of their kids, 5 girlfriends and a wife, you can't be around me. The moment I didn't even have a conversation with them about it.
You're just like,
I'm out. Do you know every year, almost 2 years ago, he called me. Every year. It's been 15 years. He calls me. He reaches out. Hey, Attorney Fenton, he says he's a very good friend of yours. He said you were in the military. He's on the line. I think about it. Unavailable. I can give you more.
No, it's well. What I'm hearing is that you have said, like, based on who you intend to be. Like, because here's the thing, and we all know this, but you are the reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
We don't know that.
Well, we know it. We don't believe it.
We don't believe it.
We don't believe it.
No, we don't.
We don't believe it. We know it, though. We just don't believe it.
We don't believe it.
We don't believe it. And what I just heard from you is you believe it.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah, you believe it. And so you're like, no, I do not want to be a reflection of that.
I can't be.
And so I have to cut
I can't
you.
get to where I'm going like that.
Exactly. I love that. How do you stay dedicated and committed to your vision with so many distractions?
Oh, here's another one. I told Linnell about it.
I think I know where you're going.
I shouldn't go there. Should I go there? Okay.
You know
fine.
what? It's real.
All right,
I mean,
let's go
it's
there.
real life. It's real life.
First off, alcoholics shouldn't be in bars.
Facts.
If you know you're trying to lose weight, then don't go to the rest. Don't go to Harold's Chicken with your friends.
Don't
if
even
your
walk
friends,
in.
Don't go. Don't
even walk in. You can't even put the food in the car.
Don't need it around me.
Yeah. You need to Uber back.
That's why
I don't even want to smell it.
Yes. Place it in. Matter of fact, drive in a different car.
Yeah.
Alcoholics don't hang out in bars. I don't put myself, very, very rare do I put myself in a position to be harmed or to distract me from my vision. So no, I'm not hanging out with you all night. It's easy on a whim. Hey, since you're coming by to drop something off to me, come into the studio. Am I sleepy? Am I tired? No. You know why? Because I don't have the habit of I was out all night Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
On any day of the week, I can wake up at 6, 7 a.m. and I'm fine. Right?
Right.
So the example I was about to give as an example, people like to talk about relationships. They talk about men and fidelity. Well, if I'm a married man, I'm not going to be hanging out in bars with a bunch of single women.
There's not even here's the thing. My life significantly shifted when I met my wife because the whole idea of going to the club was to hunt.
Correct.
And I have now landed what I've been hunting for.
Correct.
Why do I ever need to go back? It's like the level of enjoyment that I had for the club when I was single, I'll never reach that again. So why am I even, it's like somebody we going to the club.
For what?
You coming? Why? Why am I going there? It doesn't make sense to me.
But you said 2 significant things, though.
Mm-hmm.
The first significant thing you said was you were clear on what the club represented.
I knew I was going.
But people are not clear, or they play games.
Yeah.
And your association is clear. Your association is clear. The primary purpose of me going to a place like this for the history of me was to pick up a woman. So if I'm not going to pick up a woman, how do I change my association? So I'd have to change my association.
Right. How many, I don't care how much you love to dance. How many people, the sole reason, there might be a few.
I'll give you dance.
There might be a few, right? There might be a few. But the sole reason they want to go is to dance.
Right. I got you.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's and for instance, in Ghana, we all go to a Ghanaian club in Accra.
Right, yes.
And we dance.
Right.
However, we buy VIP, right? We create our own environment within the club so we can actually enjoy ourselves as a celebration of, right? And the spirit in Ghana is just different. It's just completely.
Right.
Across, the spirit of Accra is way different from NYC, Chicago, LA, period. Just is.
But you also said something significant. The second part of what you said was, and you've already found what you desire.
I already found what I desire.
But you're clear on that.
Yeah.
But you had to have a vision to know that you even have what you desire.
I knew what I was looking for.
You get it?
I knew what I wanted.
Right.
It wasn't a default.
So dedication, focus, determination, and vision, accomplishing vision, begets accomplishing and creating vision.
Yep. So how do you choose which events to attend and I'm adding this, since you're so discriminating, right? How do you choose which events to attend? And one more part. And are they based on your vision, or should they be rewards for accomplishing your goals?
Well, first off, like Linnell can answer, go on top of this. First off, I'm like in the spirit of Linnell. I've already been there, done that. There are not many events that I even desire to attend. So I think one part of evolution and vision as we mature is that what was satisfying to us yesterday shouldn't be satisfying to us today.
Yeah.
And that's also telling about people and their lack of vision. How are you doing the same thing? 2020. So why don't you just, why did we go from elementary school to middle school, from middle school to high school, from high school to college, but we don't do that in life. We never graduate in life.
Yeah.
So I don't need to go to an event. I'm past events. And to the extent that I'm going to an event, let me tell you what my event is. Hey, Ernest, come on by the studio. Let's talk. This is my event. There's no event better than me having a conversation with Linnell. I can't think of an event better than me and Linnell sitting down and having a conversation.
It's interesting. So a client of mine had a dinner, and being my client, she already knew. She was like, "I'm hosting a dinner. It's a networking event, and I know you probably don't want to come, right? Because, like you said, events. I'm like, if it doesn't align with my vision, if it doesn't align with my vision, then it's not an action I'm going to normally going to take. So she enrolled me in coming.
Right.
Now, let me be very clear, because there are people who might have events who want you there or want me there.
Right.
And I think a lot of times they don't understand what it takes to get a person to show up. You've had events.
Right.
I show up.
Right.
Right. But what does it take to get a Linnell Harris at your event? What does it take to get an Ernest Fenton at your event? Let me tell you what she did. So she was like, I know you normally don't go out. Because then she asked me, why don't you network? Why don't you go out? And I'm like, I already feel like I don't get enough time with my son.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, because I got to work. I got to travel sometimes, right? I already feel like my daughter is growing up faster than I want her to.
Right.
Why would I give my Wednesday night to some strangers?
Correct.
Like, because of my focus and my vision, right? Like, why would I give my night to someone else when I can give it to my wife and my children?
Correct.
So she said, okay, if you come to my event, I promise you won't regret it. Right? And this is a client of mine.
Good start.
Good start, right?
Yes.
And I'm still thinking about it. And I waited like 2 months, and I said, okay, I'll come. Because she had been planning it out.
Right.
Now, when I got there, she tells me, I have you at a table of people who are decision makers for training and coaching in their organizations. Everyone sitting around you is interested in the work that you do.
Right.
Right? And she laid it out. And then she began to bring people up.
And introduce them.
And every person she introduced me to knew who I was. Was interested in the work that I do.
Correct.
And I've already had follow-up conversations with 75% of the individuals that she introduced me to. Yeah. And she proved to me that when I have events, those events are going to align with the vision that you have. And she didn't only do it for me. She did it for all 30 people in the room.
Powerful. Can I feed off that and circle back around? This is why it's important to have the right people in your circle. Because if Linnell says, hey, Ernest, you need to be, he doesn't have to say, hey, you need to, all he has to say to me is, hey, you need to be here. Mm-hmm. Then I don't have to ask him a bunch of follow-up questions.
Right.
I can trust that there's a reason. I know that it's going to be good.
Yep.
I can show up. But when you have the quote-unquote wrong people in your circle, you find yourself at tables and events you shouldn't be at.
And I think that when you're dealing with certain types of personalities, because some people, they'll take it personal. You didn't come to my birthday party. You didn't, like, I invited you, you didn't come.
Can I?
And I believe that when people have to understand, when you're dealing with certain types of personalities, if you don't know how to enroll them and align it with their vision, it occurs as a waste of precious
I'm
time.
about to take people way over the top, okay? And hear me. I'm about to take you way over the top.
Yep.
My friends know me. They know not to invite. Okay, I'll just say it. If you have a, what do you call those clubs? A little hole in the wall. If you're having an event, birthday party, something like that, and a hole in the wall on the south side of Chicago or at Markham, Harvey, Calumet City, somewhere, they know not to invite me. And I can care about you, I can love you, but here's the thing. I'm not going into those environments.
Yeah.
You follow? And I'm not going into those environments because I'm concerned about safety. Well, first off, I wouldn't take my wife into those environments because she might be concerned about not all those that I named. You get my point.
Right.
I'm not taking my wife to a hole in the wall because she's concerned about safety. I'm not concerned about safety. I'm just saying who I am, I've evolved past that. Unless you got a young John Coltrane. Now, if you tell me there's a young guy like John Coltrane, he plays in a little hole in the wall of South Chicago, where is he? What time? I'll be there.
But see, but again, that goes back to the type of hobbies. Right? That's something that you know is going to feed you and edify you in a way.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here is a musician who is excellent at his craft.
That's different.
Yeah.
But here's my point I want to drive home to people. I'm serious. Now I'm taking you over the top. You got to stop showing up everywhere. And I don't care. And here's this. You got to stop showing up everywhere. And I mean, that's for anyone. Did you hear what I just said? I mean, I don't care who it is. Your sister, your brother, your best friend. I don't do those places.
It's facts. And to be clear, and to be clear, Attorney Fenton turned down my birthday invitation.
Where?
And I didn't make a thing about it. Like, I was like, hey, brother, we going to be on the boat. You should come. Blah, blah, blah. And he gave me the reason. He was like, my wife leaves town the next day. It makes sense to me. But here's the thing. Let me just qualify it real quick. Because I am the way that I am about my family. Right? This is why you divorced the guy who was shortcutting his child. Right? Because I am the way I am about my family, I get that he's the way he is about his.
Right.
My wife leaves town the next day. I know it's your birthday, but my wife leaves town the next day. And so it's important to me that her experience that Sunday is solid.
Right. Easy.
And you're speaking to someone who gets it. I'm not offended.
Right.
Fenton didn't come on my birthday, you know. And but see, this is real.
And he's inviting me on a boat.
On a boat. Fenton didn't come for my birthday, right? But the thing is, because there's alignment,
right,
there can be friendship.
Right.
Despite, and we don't make the friendship, that means something. Right. I don't make it mean anything because we're aligned in how we operate. I get it. You don't have to explain. You don't have to express it twice. Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, Marissa, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Enough said. Next time. Yeah. I got another question for you here. So the question is, based on the previous answer, so are you not a part of industry associations? Like, are you a part of all the lawyer associations in Chicago?
No, I'm not.
You know, do you go to these networking events, rub shoulders with your colleagues, etc.?
I don't.
How do you survive in business, Fenton? Like, how is that possible?
I have no idea about any
Did you used to do it before?
Never.
So it's not something you stopped?
Never started.
You never did?
Never did.
Now, let me ask myself the same question, because I think this is interesting.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Linnell, are you a part of industry associations? Did you do it previously or did you stop? No, I'm not. I'm not a part of industry associations. I went to an industry association here in Chicago for black leaders. I sat at the table one time. I felt the spirit of the room. I never came back.
Right.
I would be searching for something. I could tell I would be searching for something I wanted and never get it. See, here's the thing. Many of us don't follow our intuition. So we waste our time. Like, based on the spirit of the room, if you're discerning, that ain't for you. But because the narrative is, this is what you're supposed to do, we do it. And then the other part is, if my vision dictates my actions, I'm sitting in the room asking myself, how does this align?
Right.
Exactly. I can't find an alignment, but so-and-so is here. Oh, there is oh my God, there's such big names. I never came back.
Correct.
I never went back. Same thing for coaching. I went once to Willis Tower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But what's the alternative? Why?
Why? Mm-hmm. Here's what I found. When I showed up to most of the industry associations where I play, it's turned into a Q&A where I'm giving of myself.
Okay.
Based on what I've created, and that's not why I went. I thought I was going to get something.
Got it. Or at least reciprocity.
Some level of reciprocity. So when I realize there's no reciprocity, it's a waste of my time.
Let me tell you why, for me, and I'm sure that there are some good people in that room, just the same thing I tell women, right? And I've told men, and even how I dated prior.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be in a room of 100 people to find 5. First and foremost, I just need 5. So I know my vision tells me with my business, I need 100. Let's, as an example, it's not correct, but I'm throwing it out.
Follow.
I need 100 clients. I want 150 new clients a year. I don't need to go into that room to find my 150 clients.
No.
So if I don't need to go, if I thought that room would give me my 150 clients, I'd go into that room. So the same thing. A lot of people say, well, I need 2 mentors. Well, you go into that room, it's 100 people, you're looking for 2 mentors, right? Now you have to sift through, because you and I both know, to Linnell's point, I think, 60, 70% of those people, they can't mentor you. 80%, 90% can't mentor you. So now it's 10 people in that room.
And the one you want won't.
This is what I'm saying. So oftentimes what occurs is that we go into this big pool and we actually are wasting time. You need to, I said, I'd rather spend my time, and I'm going to bet on me. My first book, I'm going to bet on me.
Yep.
I need 150 clients. I'm going to bypass middlemen. I'm going directly to the consumer. That's it.
I love it. Once again, this comes back to vision being the guide for how decisions are made. And like for me, if it doesn't align with the vision, then I can't play the game.
How do you build business? Because you're not on VON anymore, not that that's the only way to build business. But yeah, without going out into the world and presenting yourself.
It's a great question.
How do you build your business?
I'm so happy you asked the question.
Well, because I was just sharing with the young man, remember we talked about being a warrior?
Mm-hmm.
Like Susan, I've been about this life for like 15, 20 years, right? More, 20 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
What's that song? If you don't know me by now, you'll never know me.
Yeah.
If I did nothing else, my phone would ring for the next 10 years, because that's what I invested. Those are the seeds that I've already planted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right? And then, so I got clients. They're coming back for the second, third, fourth time. Their children are calling me at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just share this for people, entrepreneurs who are listening. And I was telling this to a young man yesterday. He was looking at a real estate deal, and I went by to look at the deal with him. And then someone was trying to give me a deal. And he was like, well, the difference between you and me is people are trying to give you deals. Like, people are trying to give me business. I choose who I want to be a client. That's the way I'm formula. That's my vision for my business. My business is not, I have to go find you. No, you have to find me. It's a privilege to have me represent you. That's my vision.
That's
Okay.
That's a lot there.
And one thing I do know
let me finish this part. So what I was sharing, and I'm about to share this with you all, right? And I'm just me. I'm just this little old guy, right? I told him, I said, sir, I have $1 million in the streets. Hey, Susan, I'm lowballing my million. I have invested, if I had to estimate, 2 million. Certainly $1 million, $1.5 million. I got $1.5 million invested on the south side of Chicago and the south suburbs over a 15-year period. Money that I have spent literally in my brand. If you don't know me by now, you will never know me. And you don't deserve to know me if you don't. If you do. That's it. That's my mentality.
This is let me say this, Susan, to this part too. When you are committed to excellence in your work, you don't have to go find clients. They find you.
Yeah.
This is how it goes. Like I just had a conversation with a business coach, and they would ask me about my sales process because I'm looking to sell a scale. And I'm like, well, we do just this much reach out, which is like a fraction of what other organizations like mine do. So how have you survived? I'm like, I have more work than I can do from people calling me. And the book of Proverbs lays this out. All a man has is his name.
Yeah.
If I invest in ensuring that my name is synonymous with excellence in the field or the endeavor that I have, I don't have to go to industry associations and networking events to generate business.
Yeah.
Because I generate business by providing Attorney Fenton an excellent product when he hired me. So then all he's going to do is talk about me when somebody else needs the same thing. Attorney Fenton, how many clients have I sent you? Because of my personal experience with you. So I'm not just saying, oh, you should go to Attorney Fenton. No, he has done this for me. It is an excellent product, and you should do it too, right? So if somebody says, I need an estate and trust, I'm not, well, you should Google it. Why? No, you need to go to Attorney Fenton. I have a personal experience with Attorney Fenton. No different somebody saying, I need a life coach. No, you should go to Linnell Harris. I have a personal experience with Linnell Harris. Where did that come from? When someone has come to me, I've given them everything I have in terms of what I'm committed to in the work that I do.
Yeah.
And so, as a result, it saves me from having to go out and find new folk who don't know me. Because the folk who do know me, the folk who do know Attorney Fenton, are creating the stream of individuals who are walking into those offices.
Yeah. And build it and they shall come.
That's right.
So for those who haven't established themselves, because it makes a couple of sense for the two of you to be established, and it's a system that works on its own.
That's right. Whenever you provide value, let me be very clear, right? You can create a vision for something.
Yeah.
And what has to be clear is the value that vision provides other people. You have to, and when you know the value, when you know the value and you deliver on that value, then people will talk about you. It's just that, it's that clear.
Yeah.
Got it.
Awesome.
Okay,
Great
gentlemen.
question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good phone call. So to that point, I wanted to share this. This is where vision attracts resources. For anyone who is struggling in their business, because the resources aren't coming.
Yeah.
Like the first place I would start, if they called me for coaching, I would say, what is the vision? Like, what is the vision of the business? Mm-hmm. And I believe that most entrepreneurs are struggling. I'd love to hear your, but I believe that most entrepreneurs are struggling because they're not even clear on what they're selling. They think they're selling what they're selling, right? Oh, I have a catering business, so they think they're selling food, right?
No, you're not.
Yeah, but hold on, let me use another example because so quickly you said, no, you're not. So somebody's like, then what am I selling, Attorney Fenton? Oh, you have you have a car washing business, so you believe you're selling clean cars. Like, no, you're not. You're not selling clean cars, right? Yeah. It's, oh, the weather was bad. This is why business has been bad. It's like, no, because you're selling the wrong thing. Yeah. So go ahead and tell them what they should be selling, Attorney Fenton.
I tell people all the time, like, I don't sell, I'm a lawyer, right? I don't sell legal services per se. Why people call me is because with me, you get the truth. I sell truth. I sell education. With me, I'm not going to hide any balls. I'm going to give you the answer. With me, what I sell is integrity because I do business with you. You go to other places, you'll spend money with them, but they won't spend money with you. There's no reciprocity. They don't invest in your community, right? With me, what I give people is a good night's sleep. Because if you call me and there's an emergency, like thousands of people have. This is why don't get me wrong. I could do marketing and go to those events and make more money, but the return for my time is not worth it for me at this stage. It's not in alignment with my vision because I don't need another dollar per se. Like I need another. Put it this way, I may need another $100,000, but I don't need another $200,000. See, I know my number. I'm not out to get all the money I can make. I just need the money I need to make to support my vision.
That's big.
So then I'm not going to trade my time for a dollar that I don't need. Right? But
let me read this comment that my wife made, too, because I think this is important. She said, associations and networking events may work for some people depending on their industry. It has worked wonders for my business, especially when I was getting started. And I've seen my wife work industry events.
Yeah.
Right? And in her industry, and this is true, I want to put this out here. In her industry, based on her clientele, and the difference is, and my wife can attest to this, I've been at those events with her and never opened my mouth.
Right.
Like, I'm just, babe, you need something? I'm about to go over here and get, want some water? And then she like, did you talk to somebody? No. This ain't for me.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm clear on that. Whereas for her, she's selling, so you have to also know
your industry,
but you also have to be clear on what you're selling.
Correct.
I want to ask you this question. One of the things I talked about were the 5 hindrances. And the 5 hindrances, here are the 5. The 5 hindrances are sensual. The first hindrance is sensual. Yeah. The second hindrance is ill will and negativity. You already spoke to this in some ways.
Right, yeah.
The third is the energetic prison. The fourth is the unsettled mind. You spoke to this in terms of focus, right? Yeah. And the fifth is skeptical doubt.
Right.
How does Attorney Fenton deal with the 5 hindrances, in particular, the sensual hindrances and skeptical doubt, 1 and 5? Like, how do you, because you already spoke to, we already know ill will and negativity. Somebody shows up with that, they're going to get cast out, right? We already know this. We already heard you talk about your divorces. The energetic prison in particular, so let's talk about the sensual hindrance, the energetic hindrance, because I know you have a strategy for that, and skeptical doubt. How do you deal with that?
The sensual, not that women don't have this, but men, I think women have it as well. Sensual, we associate with men, infidelity, cheating, chasing women. But guess what? Women, your sensual lack of integrity is social media. You need the likes. You want to dress provocative. You want everybody every day. You need somebody to tell you how beautiful you are. doing the same thing in a different, well, quote unquote, in a different way. So first off, because when you, again, speaking as Linnell, when you have vision, like, I'm not going to forego everything that I have at play to play.
Right.
It's
especially
like,
for a moment of play.
Yeah, my
yeah, you're like,
the game that I'm playing in my life is so much bigger than playing, let me pick up a girl on the side. Like, it sounds absurd to me. And it only sounds absurd to me not because I don't like women. Clearly I do. You follow? Anybody who knows me knows before I was a married man, clearly I do.
Right.
But the game I'm playing in relation to the game that I'm playing is no way I would compromise the game I'm playing for that.
Got you. So that's number one.
Yeah.
What about your energy? Like, how do you handle the energy prison? One of the major complaints I get when people first hire me is, not enough time. I'm so fatigued. I'm so tired.
I've talked about this 1,000 times. Number one, everyone does not have access to me. You can't call my phone. My phone will not ring today. Maybe I'll get 2 or 3. Maybe I'll get 1 or 2 people that reaches out to me today. And if they do, they'll probably start with a light text. So one, I guard my space. You just can't show up at my office. You don't just show up at my house. No, I'm not going to every event. They know that my brother picks and chooses what he invites me to. He knows I'm not coming to that little club.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
So I have a vendor that I've had a relationship with. This individual, I was going to hire them again. Then they, I need the money sooner. I have an emergency. I never responded to the text, nor will I hire them now. And let me help people understand what you talk about in terms of the energetic prison. You do not get my energy. You don't just get to take my energy, especially if I'm your customer.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be supporting me and helping me keep my energy safe. As soon as he did that, I'm done. I'm not hiring you.
Yeah.
Do not make your problem my problem.
Correct.
Because now that's going to be part of my energy.
Correct.
And I didn't hire you to take my energy. I hired you to preserve my energy.
Yes.
And I think sometimes, we get, but Linnell, what if he had a real emergency? He needs the money. It's the holidays. What about his family? You're not going to pay him ahead of time? No. That will become an energy drain, and that is how we have to be if we want to maintain. All right, the last one. How do you handle your own skeptical doubt?
I worked on that for many years. And, I won't say that I'm perfect, but I'll just tell you, I have enough evidence. The evidence tells me that whatever it is, whoever I need to be, I will be. I believe it. And I reaffirm myself. I tell myself almost on a daily basis, you have everything you need. No matter what the problem is. Listen, this is what I tell myself. You have everything you need. In fact, you're much bigger than the man you present yourself to be. In fact, you're playing yourself small. In fact, this problem is little to you. Make this problem disappear. I mean, the problem is right in front of me. Then I say to myself, make this problem disappear. Without changing anything, I make the problem disappear in my mind. That's how.
What I just heard, it circled us all the way back around. Great way to end this segment, to the warrior's mindset.
Yeah.
You handle skeptical doubt by blasting it out.
Yeah.
With affirmations
of
who you are, who you intend to be, and what you will create.
Yes.
That's a great way to end. Attorney Fenton, thank you, brother.
Good stuff.
Thank you for your time this morning. I believe if someone heard this episode, they didn't know how to make vision practical, that they have the recipe to do so today. Hey, my inspired peoples. Linnell Harris here, certified ontological coach and trainer. I'm so excited that you're watching the channel. By the way, did you know you can catch the show live at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Sunday morning? You can. All you have to do is go to my Facebook stream, Coach Linnell Harris, catch the stream live, or you can listen to the radio show via iHeart at WVON 1690 AM. But since you're here, if you love the content, I ask that you share it, like this particular video, and subscribe to the channel. I hope you're having a great day.